Luke Fahey's commitment fills a crucial need for the Buckeyes' future.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to a bonus episode of Locked On Buckeyes, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, veteran sports talk host, delivering passionate coverage about your Buckeyes. And during this Buckeye Blitz, we will discuss if Felix Ojo will be the next player to commit to Ohio State, because the Buckeyes got a big-time commitment on Thursday as four-star quarterback Luke Fahey became the 20th member of the Buckeyes 2026 recruiting class. And this commitment is big for multiple reasons, but one of them is because he fills a crucial need for the Buckeyes' future. We have talked all about this all season, the Buckeyes' desire and need to have a quarterback in this cycle, at least one. If they wanted to get two, I wouldn't be mad at them, but you have to have at least one. And up until the spring, March, April, and May, it didn't really seem like the Buckeyes are really going very hard after a quarterback, knowing that they were looking, but no names really emerged. And then Luke Fahey's name came up. He got an official visit to Ohio State. He got his Buckeye offer during his official visit. Lo and behold, he was in the running with Indiana and Stanford and Ohio State. Those are the three schools that are pushing very hard for this young man to go to that school. The Buckeyes win the battle. And this young man is one of those guys, has a high upside. He's one of those players that when you watch him play, he is very, very efficient. And it's not only efficient with your eyeballs, it also shows up in the stat sheet to where he brought down his interception number from his sophomore year to his junior year. He can make all the throws, and the throws that he make jump off the screen. And it's not just a guy that's a really good quarterback and very efficient and maybe plays in an offense that doesn't allow him or doesn't really push him to make risks. No, he's making some big boy risks, but he's accomplishing them, and he's not afraid to go out there and sling the ball around. And one thing about a guy in Luke Fahey, I wonder, does he fit what Ryan Day wants from a quarterback? Standing at 6 foot even, 185 pounds, he does fit. He easily fits. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts or any second thought for me to really wonder if he fits. Ryan Day wants a quarterback that's comfortable in the pocket. Ryan Day wants a quarterback that can make all the throws. Ryan Day wants a quarterback that has special arm talent. Ryan Day wants a quarterback that's a leader. Ryan Day wants a guy that could be an extension of Ryan Day and Billy Fessler when they're out there on the field, and Brian Hartline. Ryan Day wants the guy that's a total package. Now, it's hard to find those guys sometimes, or maybe you have to get in on them a little bit later. But once you get in on them, close the deal. One thing that I've heard all the time when people that are in sales or doing separate pitches to try to win somebody over, may it be a sales job or maybe you're trying to get sponsorships for your business. And one thing you always know is ABC always be closing. Now, it doesn't seem like Ohio State was following that motto when you bring a guy in on an official visit without an offer. However, that could be a method of ABC always be closing. Because if you know you can get him in on campus when he doesn't have an offer, that might show your commitment to him while you are selling your school, the school, on the young man you're trying to lure to Ohio State. Luke Fahey's commitment is big. The Buckeyes already have 4 receivers verbally committed right now. A couple of them in Caden Dixon Wyatt and Chris Henry Jr. are Adidas athletes along with Jeremiah Smith. So that's a big thing too. You already have a tight end in Corbin Fordham already committed. You have 4 offensive linemen verbally committed. This offensive recruiting class is looking pretty good right now. It's looking pretty solid. And it got a whole lot better when you got a signal caller that's not just filling a crucial need, but has the ability down the road to be a dude, to be a guy, to be somebody at Ohio State that is flourishing in Ryan Day's offense. I want to knock something, or not knock it out the park, but I do want to hit something really quickly because I mentioned that he's 6 foot, 185 pounds. And hearing that when a guy's a recruit, he's in high school, you may be thinking, well, if he's 6 foot, 185, I'm not really worried about the weight because Ohio State's pretty good about figuring out how guys can put on healthy weight and sustain it. But he's 6 foot even. wouldn't that be a hindrance for him on the field because he's a little bit shorter? No, not at all. Honestly, I was very surprised with the way that he handles and conducts himself in the pocket, and he doesn't allow his height to be a problem. It's sometimes it may be a plus, honestly, because he's figured out over the time he played quarterback to not allow his being a shorter player to hinder him on the football field. So no, I'm not really worried about that. You're 6 foot heading into your senior year of high school. It's very likely that when he let's say he does sign and he eventually does become a starter for Ohio State, he could be 6'2" or 6'3" at that point. I'm not really worried about the height. He's still young. He is growing. His body is maturing. 6 foot right now in high school, I'm cool with it. I think Ryan Day's cool with it too. If Ryan Day wasn't cool with it, he would have offered him to come into campus on an official visit. If he wasn't cool with it, he wouldn't have extended that young man an offer. Ryan Day also extended an offer to Felix Ojo. And Felix Ojo, the number 7 ranked player in the class of 2026, is committing today. And I wonder if he will be the next member to join the Buckeyes 2026 recruiting class. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a bigger purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Thank you all for tapping in Locked On Buckeyes right here on the 4th of July on Independence Day and making it your first listen of the day. The original plan for today was to not have a show on the 4th of July. 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, there will be a show because the Buckeyes played that previous Friday. But in general, those holidays that call on Mondays when there's no ball being played, there's probably not going to be a show. 4th of July, generally there is no show. However, we are popping up right here early on your feed on a Friday because of a big-time commitment from a Buckeye target in Luke Fahey, 4-star quarterback from Mission Viejo High School in Mission Viejo, California. Now, with his commitment being one that I am watching, I'm excited about, maybe more excited about than most players when they commit, I'm wondering if 5-star offensive tackle Felix Ojo will be next because he is scheduled to make announce his commitment today, sitting at 6'6", 275 pounds from Mansfield, Texas, out of Lake Ridge High School. This young man is a real deal. Some say he is a can't-miss prospect. That's how real of a deal he is. And Ohio State has generally at times struggled to get the top-tier offensive tackle that's outside of the state of Ohio. And I think this commitment, or later today, his commitment will not be an Ohio State one unless Ohio State pushes very, very, very hard to pull the man from the Lone Star State. It seems like Texas is trending in the right direction to land him. But if you want to be developed, would you rather go to Texas or would you rather go to Ohio State? I think Ohio State. Look at last year's draft. Simply look at Josh Simmons. Even look at Josh Fryer, who Josh Fryer was never going to get drafted. I didn't think he progressed. I don't think he was athletic enough to ever play in the NFL. However, Josh Fryer progressed a lot for the 2023 season to the 2024 season. While he was a right tackle, while at times I believe he was a liability at right tackle, I don't think he was as big of a problem as he was in 2023. So the development of Josh Fryer, the development of Josh Simmons, those are two things that I think would lure in a top-tier tackle. Now, I think in this conversation, you throw out Fryer, who was developed at Ohio State, and you look at Josh Simmons. You can even look at Donovan Jackson. If you look at those two guys, from what they did when they played tackle, Donovan Jackson got thrown out there on short notice because Josh Simmons was hurt. What happened? He had he had a game where he looked a little shook, got worked a little bit, but it was also his first game playing tackle in college. After that, he more than handled. He controlled the other defensive ends, elite D ends that he played later on in the regular season into the college football playoff. And so Josh Simmons, first-round pick, homie got hurt after game number 6, and he was still a first-round pick. But he put up 32 or 33 reps at 225. And I think Ohio State has enough guys, not just under Justin Fry, but even Coach Stud, that were being developed in a way that top-tier talent on the offensive line should want to play at Ohio State. So Felix Ojo is a guy that I wish he was going to be a Buckeye. I don't think it's going to happen. There are some other schools that are up for the running in his Final Four. The Final Four is Texas and Ohio State. We mentioned them earlier, along with Michigan and Florida. Now, I don't think Michigan and Florida are going to land a commitment from him. However, anything is possible. That's one thing that we have learned in recruiting, is that anything is possible. Originally, we were planning on coming on if there was a bonus pod because somebody committed, was highlighting Emmanuel Ruffin. Ruffin is a young man out of Alabama, out of Bessemer City High School, 6'4", 290 pounds, a 4-star defensive lineman. He said that he is not going to announce his commitment on July 4th. I came in a tweet that says this: first off, I want to thank God for putting me in this position. Also, I want to thank everyone who been a part of my recruitment. However, after weighing my options, I decided I will not be committing on July 4th. I understand this is a process, and I want to make sure I make the best decision for me in my future. Stay tuned for updates. My recruitment is 100% open. God bless. And I think that last part is very important. And I want to read the entire thing so you can get a glimpse about how this young man speaks, as well as how he's going to conduct himself and put a statement out there that is so important. Emmanuel Ruffin, it seemed like was going to be an LSU Tiger. But when he says his recruitment is 100% open, that means Ohio State has a bigger shot, a better shot to go out there and land him. But then it may be a little bit tougher because Ohio State's now dealing with maybe Michigan, maybe Texas, maybe USC, maybe Oregon to get this young man to play for them. So one guy in Felix Ojo is committing today, probably will be a Texas Longhorn. Another guy in Emmanuel Ruffin was expected to commit today. He is not going to. But him not committing and him saying his commitment, his recruitment is 100% open means Ohio State has a chance. But they got to work really, really hard to land him. Thank you all for tapping in Locked On Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. For your second listen, check out the portal, because my guy Brian Smith, he has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on the rapid changes to the college football landscape. You can find the portal and Locked On Buckeyes on the YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me on any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317@gmail.com. This has been Locked On Buckeyes right here on a Friday. We'll see you next time.